The Eurasian Steppe is a vast plain where water and food can be scarce, but a wily creature can take advantage of the forbidding environment. Foxes live and thrive on every continent, except for Antarctica. But to survive in the frigid, dry shrubland, it takes some special skills. The Corsac fox is a canine like any other, but it has a special skill that many of its kin can't boast. But adversity often breeds innovation in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at LD Taxonomy. LD Taxonomy or...
It was like a French accent.
LD Taxonomy. Or... visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons, Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspulich, and Carol Raspulich. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about another fox with shifty, untrustworthy eyes. But more on that later.
I think they look graceful and serene, but, you know, whatever. Teach his own.
Little column A, little column B.
I don't want to yoke your yak. But
I have shifted the office that I work in and record from, and now it looks like I'm in a void, which is great. There's no background anymore, just color, nothing.
Oh, well, mine's got all kinds of backgrounds still, so...
Yeah, I haven't put anything up yet.
I need a void. Right here. Just a big void behind me. Every office needs a void. Just to throw stuff in. A pocket universe.
Yeah.
Anyway. We're talking about the Corsac fox. Otherwise known as just the Corsac. Or a Corsac. Which I'd never heard of before we researched this. But we're going to call it here the Fine Vulpine and the Sly Climber.
Good.
But don't take my word for it. Take science word for it when it comes to naming things. Science's word for it. It's in a kingdom you know, love, and are in. The kingdom is Animalia. Phylum is Chordata. The class is Mammalia. We should all be able to just recite this in our sleep at this point. Order Carnivora, because again, if it's a mammal and it eats living, well, it eats non-plants, then it's a carnivora. Suborder is Caniformia, things that look like dogs. The family is Canidae, basically dogs. The subfamily is Caninae, even more basically dogs. The genus is Vulpes, and that's where it splits off from dogs and goes into foxes. And then the species is Corsac. So Vulpes, Corsac. That's a very simple, straightforward, easy binomial nomenclature. I like it. No 8-syllable words with 4 vowels together. And C's that I don't know whether it's a soft C or a hard C. But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that question is the same every time. What is a name? What is the name for a group of this animal, or what is the term of venery, or what is the collective noun? It's all means the same. If you saw a group of foxes, would you say that's A, creep of foxes, B, a slink of foxes, C, a lurk of foxes, or D, a skulk of foxes? I don't know if you noticed a pattern.
I'm going to go with slink, final answer.
Oh, so close. But
Skulk?
Incorrect. It is skulk. Yes, it is skulk. As soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, the rest of them have to be like
the same
synonyms. But yes,
that's appropriate. They all could have worked.
Yeah, it is a skulk of foxes. So yeah, bring that up at the next dinner party and wow your friends. Would you like to know what this thing looks like?
Sure.
All right, so the Corsac is about as regal as foxes get. Foxes can be, traditional, like the red and white or the orange and white, and they can be like super adorable, like the fennec fox. But this is definitely an elegant regal fox, I think. It has a light coat of creams and reddish hues, especially around the legs and chest. It has gray tinges, with more gray in the face and the back. Some of them are pretty gray, but for the most part, it's kind of a cream color. The tail has that classy, long, classic and classy, long, fluffy fox tail. And when I was looking through pictures of it, it actually kind of has more of a cat appearance than a dog, just because the way it curls up, and it just looks like a Maine Coon mixed with a fox. But it's a medium-sized fox. It's not the biggest one there is, but it's not like the fennec fox. That one, that thing's like an inch. It's more than an inch. But Joe, why don't you go ahead and tell us how big this fox is, and make sure. I just want to be abundantly clear that you put this into relatable terms this time, please.
Okay. Welcome to the Bluff Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, so that means we get to hear from an animal, and Carlos has to guess what it is.
Alrighty then.
And today we're going to be hearing from a fox.
Oh.
A cartoon fox, in fact.
There are lots of those.
There are a ton of them, and most of them are super iconic that you would get it immediately. But I found some deep cuts that you might that might actually make this a challenge.
Okay.
So, without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
I shall go for a little picnic, so
I think that's probably enough to go on.
Sure is. That was piercing. It was piercing, I want to say. Shrill.
That's probably the audio quality of the way you're experiencing it. The listeners will experience it a little bit better, probably.
Hopefully. For their sake.
Is that A, The Fox from The Fox and the Crow, a 1940s and beyond Columbia animation based on the Aesop's fable? Muggy Doo. Is it B, Muggy Doo, and another animated fox from the 20th century? Is it C, J. Worthington Foulfellow from Pinocchio? Did you know that's the name of the fox from Pinocchio?
I did. I knew his name was Jay, and I'm 1,000,000% sure it's not him. He's called, when I was a kid, he tells Pinocchio his name is Honest John. And I think maybe that's what the J stands for, John. But like, doesn't I thought like the when he talks to the evil guy who's going to turn all the kids into donkeys, spoiler alert, I think he calls him. I thought he calls him Jay, because I always assumed, like, I don't know. I knew that his name was Jay.
It's J, like it's J.
J dot
with a J dot. Yeah, it's probably for John Worthington Foulfellow.
Honest John.
And D, is it D Briar Fox from the Song of the South?
You mean Brer Fox?
Yeah.
Because it's a mashed together.
Is it brother?
Yeah, it's brother Fox. But it's in.
See, I always thought it was Briar, like short for Briar.
No,
because of Splash Mountain.
They all have
the Briar Patch, and they all lived in the Briar.
They didn't live in the Briar. They lived outside of the Briar Patch. It was it's Brer Rabbit that lives in the Briar Patch, and he tricks them. He's the Tom Sawyer of the group. But everybody's got that Mark Twain. And
yeah,
so
that works.
So it's not brother Fox. It's Brer Fox.
Yeah.
I don't think it's him, because the idea that he would whistle and with mirth and set up a picnic, unless it was a picnic of rabbit. I don't think that's him. I'm 100% sure that it is not J. Worthington Foulfellow. And Foulfellow. I did not know that.
Do you want a hint?
So it's one of the first two, and I'm not familiar with these particular works of art.
No, but you have heard the voice actor before.
Is it Mel Blanc? It sounds like
yes,
Mel
it
Blanc.
is. Yeah, it is.
What was the second option?
Muggy Doo. MUGGY-DOO. Not like too humid. There's really a muggy dew out this morning.
Ew. That's just every day in Florida. I'm gonna go with the first one, I suppose.
Wait, Muggy Doo is also a cat, a cartoon cat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with whatever the first one was. The fox and the crow. Final answer.
Final answer. That is correct.
Yes.
The 1941 Aesop's Fable inspired Fox and the Crow. It's kind of like a Tom and Jerry, where this fox and this crow do hijinks to one another.
It's Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
It's Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah. So let's talk length. The Corsac fox has a head and body length of 45 to 65 centimeters, or 18 to 26 inches. How many Corsac foxes go into the length of the Mongol Derby, which is a horse race? Or horse race.
Makes sense.
Here's a
Mongolia.
hint. Yeah. The Mongol Derby is the longest horse race in the world. It spans the Mongolian steppe and mimics the horse messaging system that was put in place by Genghis Khan.
This is like Hidalgo.
Which I went on a deep dive of because of this. Because I thought about this as being like Hidalgo. But Hidalgo is like an Arabian race.
Yeah.
And it's based on a true story about this cowboy, like horse rider, that went to race in Arabia. That might all be absolute snake oil. Like, there's the cowboy. I forgot his name.
Viggo Mortensen, Aragorn. That's
yes,
the cowboy's name.
he like may be a complete con artist, and he made like a ton of unsubstantiated claims, some of which made it into the movie. Like Frank Hopkins, who was like an expert horseman who performed with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, which the guy claimed, which like has been unconfirmed, unsubstantiated. Like he made so many unsubstantiated claims about like races he's done that like maybe never existed, and it's very sad. But some things he said are true, like he was part of the Ringling Brothers circus. So very, very deep dive. And now I'm deep diving into it, telling you, and it's completely irrelevant.
Because the relevant thing is that I think 4.8 million foxes go into the length of this race that is not Hidalgo.
Final answer.
4.8 million.
The correct answer is 1.5 million.
Oh, this is a short race. Anyone could do it. Easy.
The race is 1,000 kilometers or 621.3 miles.
Yeah, see, I put it as 2,000 miles because I thought it was one of those races that take like a week.
Well, they would not ride 2,000 miles to see you tonight. Or to deliver Genghis Khan's letters.
Or to fall at your door.
Yeah. Here's the weight. 1.6 to 3.2 kilograms. Or 3.5 to 7.1 pounds. How many foxes go into the weight of the largest opium seizure ever?
Oh. I'm picturing like somebody having a seizure.
Seizure, no.
I was like,
how heavy was that?
How do you weigh that? Okay, wow.
The largest amount of opium found and confiscated by authorities. So here's a hint. The opium was seized in Iran in 2007, and most of it was likely grown in Afghanistan, which is where 95% of the opium market in Europe comes from.
From the opium poppy.
I found out that the Taliban is like is to Europe as cartels are to the United States.
They're just better organized,
major
and
organized drug crime,
and they're fueled by religion, by religious fanaticism.
I wouldn't say that about the cartel.
No, I would say that about the Taliban.
Yeah, so that's
the difference.
Therein is where the difference is.
So
although some people argue, like I was reading an article that was like, the top brass of the Taliban is more like the cartel than they are like the religious fanatic ground street level guys in the Taliban.
I always suspected that like that the fanaticism was just a tool, like fuel to get people to do very dangerous and crazy and terrible things. Because
I'm sure like some of the top brass has beliefs that they believe they're furthering through like funding with drugs and stuff like that, but
yeah, because if they really committed to it, then they would be the ones doing all the crazy stuff.
I mean, but it's like the same thing with just every leader in which their followers kill themselves, like cult leaders and stuff. It's like a lot of or like they do horrible things, like Charles Manson.
But a lot of them end up killing themselves. They
justify
as well.
it. Yeah, but I mean, like the ones that don't, they justify it by saying like someone needs to be the organization person, somebody needs to be the leader, it needs to stick around. And
but I'd say that I don't know. I'd say like someone like Jim Jones believed it to the bitter end.
But maybe not, because he was shot.
Was he?
He didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Oh.
So It's a mystery.
Did I not do
Some
my
people
research?
they didn't know that like if he was shot by law enforcement actually I don't know if the law enforcement got there. I think they found everyone dead, but some people think that like when they realized he wasn't taking it, somebody shot him. When they realized, like,
You know what? That rings a bell.
the horror of the situation. Yeah.
That does ring a bell. It's just been a while since I've given any thought to.
But he could have
Cults.
maybe shot himself, instead of drinking the poison. But we don't know. It's a mystery.
All right, we were talking about an opium seizure here, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say, I don't know. I'm picturing like
In pounds.
I'm picturing like them opening up shipping containers with this stuff in it, like on a barge. More so than like finding an SUV that's full of it. So I'm gonna go with 500 tons because I think this is a massive like. It's just like like they stopped a barge that had shipping containers full of this stuff. So, oops. So that's 1 million pounds. So my answer is 141,000 Corsac foxes worth of weight went into this opium seizure.
The correct answer is 132,635.
Oh yeah!
Iran seized 427,000 kilograms or 941,000 pounds. Close to 1 million.
That
which
is
what you
so
suggested.
close. How many tons is that? 941,000? That's 470 tons, and I guess 500 tons. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a W in my book. I could have easily guessed like 80 pounds or something. If
Should we come up with a percentage of the correct answer? Like a window of the percentage of the correct answer?
Oh, but the problem is like you have to shift the goalposts based on how large the number is.
Yeah, wouldn't the percentage cover? I guess it would cover most earthly things, but like once it gets astronomical, just the decimal place is like a major victory.
I guess it's still a percent of like a significant percentage. We could do something like that. But
yeah. Then we could get like real wins, like
these
real
are
wins,
real
real
wins.
losses.
Don't tell me these aren't real wins.
No, I mean like official, like nobody's questioning it. Wins.
Do people question it? If you're questioning my wins in Measure Up, let me know. I'll have words with you.
Anyway, that's all I got for Measure Up. Do you have any fast facts before you get into the major facts?
I do. Okay, so like you mentioned Mongolia and Iran and places like that. So the Corsac fox lives on the steppes of Central Asia, which stretches from Iran all the way in the west through the stands, almost all of the stands, all the way into northern China. So it's a decent strip of the middle of Asia. And specifically, the steppes are treeless grasslands that are at high elevations, and they are far from rivers and lakes. So lots of rocky outcroppings, lots of windswept areas. Yeah, so that's what you're picturing when it comes to steppes. They eat insects and small mammals like hares, voles, pikas, the adorable little pika, the hamsters, and squirrels, gerbils, things like that. Basically, any little rodent-ish thing they can get their paws on. They're nocturnal, so they only go out at night, and they are nomadic, so they don't have a territory that they defend. They go wherever the food is, and they also need to look out for predators as they are predators themselves. But they need to look out for wolves, buzzards, eagle owls, which we've mentioned on this show. It just sounds so cool. It's a big owl, but it definitely seems like an animal that belongs in, Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah, it would be hard to picture an eagle owl that's neither eagle nor owl.
Yeah, because kind of the main point is the head. Everything else kind of would be tough to tell the difference. It's like a hamster gerbil. But I mean, I guess like an owl with a really big, ferocious beak and strong talons. You got that. And also golden eagles. Some of the bigger eagles. We mentioned we actually have an episode on the golden eagles. Go check that out. They would be horrifying to deal with as a small mammal, because they are ferocious and smart. Corsacs can live for about a decade in the wild, and I think it covers most of just the general info. We got a good idea, but what makes a major?
I'm calling this major fact Canine Climber. Canine Crunchies.
Is that a thing?
Canine Crunchies is like a brand of dog food in the 101 Dalmatians universe.
Oh, okay.
Which we've talked about multiple times, and it's like one of the one Disney films that you haven't seen very much.
That and Lady and the Tramp. I know almost nothing about those movies because I've only seen them once as a kid. For some reason, they just didn't watch them a bunch. But speaking of foxes, I did watch Robin Hood a lot. So
Fox and the Hound.
That one was emotionally traumatic. So I watched that one a lot. I watched it several times, but I do remember a lot of it because of how good of a story it is and how it tugs at the heartstrings. Lady and the Tramp did not do that for me.
No.
Anyway,
that one's about. I don't even remember what like the theme of that.
It's about a dog that is loved by its owners, but then its owners have a baby, and that dog needs to deal with the fact that it's no longer the baby of the household.
So she rebels and goes and like dates somebody from the streets. Literally.
Kind of, yeah. Like the tramp comes and like says like, oh, you don't need owners. They'll treat you like garbage, like they are. They're definitely like this baby more than you. And she's kind of swayed back and forth. It's a really weak story. Not a lot happens, and then it's kind of like avoiding the dog catchers, and then the movie's over.
But the Fox and the Hound is straight up like the innocence of like youth does not recognize these social barriers to friendship. So it's like, it doesn't matter that we're different. We can be friends. And the world just gets in the way.
Yeah. And it just has like two or three moments of really poignant emotional emotion.
And the Mama Owl sings really well. Sings a nice song. And that's fun.
Yeah, any Disney movie that starts off with the mom dying, is going to be good.
Because you have to have the hero embark on his journey, and they never would if they...
Parents have no business being in a Disney movie.
Did Odysseus' dad tag along in the Odyssey? I don't think so.
No, not at all. That would have been a dumb story. Go. Let's talk. Go read Oedipus if you want to hear about parents.
Ugh. Let's get into the major facts. So you rarely ever hear of a dog getting stuck in a tree like its feline counterparts. That may be because dogs are poor climbers. Canine bodies are built for running and endurance. Pack hunters are known for dogging their prey, which is to chase them for miles until they're tired out. And I wonder if that's like why dogs and humans made an allyship, because we hunted the same way. But like running after things until they got tired.
That's not really how we've ever hunted.
It certainly is.
We ambush, injure, and then run after. Because we have no hope of catching things unless they're injured.
But we can run for 26 miles slowly until and prey animals do like a thing where they sprint to get away from something and then tire out. They give it everything they have to get away. And so imagine you do that like 3 times and the thing's still coming. That's how humans did. But also ambushing. Like we didn't do one thing because humans, their biggest advantage is their brain. So
our biggest advantage is we do 2 things.
But that's why human beings like sweat. They like are very efficient in like getting rid of heat. So the one physical thing we have over a lot of the animal kingdom is our endurance running capabilities. We could never escape anything, but we might be able to catch something.
I thought it was our dexterous hands.
And the ability to throw.
And our
like
tongues that are capable of
apes.
speech. Tongues and jaws.
Yeah. So dogs develop powerful back legs, but their leg joints are stiff and they aren't able to articulate them like other like tree climbing mammals. So they struggle to wrap around tree trunks and branches. Unlike cats with inward curving claws, dogs have claws that curve downward. So they're useful as cleats for running, but not for gripping trees. That's why when your dog runs around your tile floor, you hear a lot of click, clack, click, clack. They're just always out pointed down so they can grip the ground. So foxes, however, are unique as canines. They aren't pack hunters, and they usually forage as generalists, eating mostly small prey. They're also smaller than other wolves and wild dogs and need to escape larger predators, like you mentioned. Eagle owls. But Corsac foxes are known to be excellent climbers. Not your average fox can even do that. And they can be seen climbing tree trunks like a squirrel. They aren't the only climbing canines, but there are only a few. So other ones are the North America's gray fox, which I saw videos of those, and that's like, wow, I did not. When you think of like a canine body climbing, it doesn't seem to work, but like they clamber up the side of a tree trunk. And then guess what else? What's the other canine that can climb?
A canine that can climb.
It's an LDT alumni.
Is it the dingo?
No. Recent alumni.
Recent?
This year.
I don't remember.
The Tanuki.
That's a canine?
Yeah, Tanuki. We talked about that. It was a canine.
I forgot about that. Basically, like my memory of the Tanuki comes down to its like mythological depiction with its its members.
Yeah, but that wasn't even the major fact.
I know, but like that's now all I can think about when it comes to the Tanuki.
Click on the link on the LDT page for the Corsac fox to go to the Tanuki page, or just type in Tanuki, LDT Tanuki. Climbing canines are anatomically doggish, except for a few important features. They have rotating wrists that allow them to wrap their limbs around tree trunks and hook their claws into the bark at better angles. Their claws are also semi-retractable. A cat's claws are fully retractable, which means you can see just pure paw and toe beans and no claw, or you can see full scary claws coming out.
Did you just say toe beans?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's
yum.
Toe I want to open a can of piping hot toe beans.
They're like pink little jelly beans.
They are.
A cat's paw.
They are.
And can be articulated. Their claws can be articulated into place when climbing trees. So Corsac foxes climb to forage for food like squirrels, insects, and other tree resources, aka tree sources. They may also supplement their diets with fruits and vegetables, because when you're on the foodless and waterless steppes of Mongolia, you take what you can get. So climbing may also help them to escape predators. And they're fairly slow runners and may not be able to escape larger predators in a sprint. They said that like a dog, like your family dog, could probably catch one. So being able to clamber up a tree is extremely helpful.
My dog is wicked fast. One of them is.
Which one?
Which one do you think? Do you think it's the overweight oblong?
It's not the potato torpedo?
Yeah, it's not the baked potato. It's the sneeze. It's the terrier sneeze. But I imagine that climbing a tree isn't great when a golden eagle is what you're up against. It's
True.
good for wolves, I imagine.
Yeah. But also, some people are probably out there thinking, my dogs can climb up trees, and there are some breeds that are better at it than others. But it's not something they're designed for. It's something that they have been bred to be capable of. Because like they're hunting dogs that hunt things that climb up trees. So they've figured out a way to like run up and get to like the first like foothold they can. But usually they're not climbing up sheer trunks that are completely vertical.
Because they can't.
But some of them are really fast and can like kind of torpedo their way up to some like small short trees.
Did you know lions can climb trees? There's no getting away from a lion.
I would imagine not. There are cats.
You would imagine not?
But I would imagine that that you wouldn't be able to escape them in a tree.
Yeah.
Although leopards seem, I think that what it is for lions is that like they're so big that like they probably don't have fun in trees, and they're probably not great at climbing like trees at the top where a leopard can get to.
No, but they can get up trees quickly because they're so big and strong.
Well, same with bears. Like you can see videos of a bear that like just vaults himself up a tree, and like even though I have opposable thumbs that can grab branches, I cannot get up as fast as a bear can.
You just don't want it as bad as the bear wants you.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
You gotta want it bad enough.
But that's all I got.
All right, that's all I got. That was
climbing canines.
That was the Corsac, the fox you'll find in a tree, and it's not Robin Hood, or maybe it is. Just be sure to double check. So for you out there in Podcastia, stay elegant. Keep an eye on the sky for predators, and climb every mountain like the Corsac fox here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
They climb every steppy.
Step it. Like a shoppy, like vitamin steppy.
Yeah. Steppy time?
Steppy time. Steppy time.
I always thought it was... Is it steppy time?
Step
I always
in
thought it was
time.
steppy time.
Step in.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was not correct that I thought it was steppy time.
Stepping time.